We're already proving with archaeological evidence that everything that was written about this temple was wrong.
She was a mother, she was a wife, she was a queen, she was a goddess.
And we are trying to find out what it led us.
For over 2,000 years, the world has searched for Cleopatra's lost tomb. And when it was finally uncovered, archaeologists didn't just find the queen. They found something buried beside her that should not exist. Something so strange. History taught us they were just royal tombs. But what lay hidden in Cleopatra's chamber tells a very different story. One that suggests the pyramids may have been built for a purpose far more powerful and far more dangerous. This wasn't the ending historians expected. Stay with me as we reveal the shocking truth behind the last Queen of Egypt and the secret the pyramids were built to protect. The final hours that started it all. According to the ancient writer Plutarch, Cleopatra's story didn't end with her throne. It ended with her heart. When Augustus and his legion stormed Alexandria, her husband, the great Roman general Mark Antony, refused to be paraded as a prisoner. Instead, he fell on his sword. And in those final moments, Cleopatra was right there, watching the love of her life slip away.
Wow, I'm gonna cry. I'm so happy.
But this is where the story takes an interesting turn. Cleopatra buried Antony in her own mausoleum, and for 2 long weeks she grieved in silence. Then she returned. She poured offerings to the gods with her own hands. And within hours, the queen herself was dead. Did she let a deadly asp sink its fangs into her skin? Did she drink poison? Or was something far darker at play? No one knows for sure. What we do know is haunting.
The last queen of Egypt was an extraordinary woman. She was a goddess, she was a warrior, she was a queen, she was a mother, and she fascinated me.
Cleopatra was laid to rest beside Antony. Soon after, their children, Marcus Antonius Antyllus and young Caesarion, the son of Julius Caesar, were both executed by Roman forces. Some believe their remains were buried with their parents, creating a royal tomb unlike any other. A tomb that, to this day, has vanished without a trace.
One of the main objectives when I came to Taposiris Magna was to discover passages underground that might lead me to tombs.
But here's the part nobody expected. What archaeologists uncovered next might finally reveal why Cleopatra's resting place has remained hidden for over 2,000 years. The golden mummies that shocked the world. For centuries, one question has haunted historians. Where is Cleopatra's final resting place? We know she and Mark Antony were buried together side by side, but their legendary mausoleum has never been found. Some believe it vanished with the ancient city of Alexandria, swallowed by the Mediterranean Sea.
I say I need it in 1 hour. I say, well, maybe 2. We are discussing 1 hour, but when we go down, we will find Cleopatra.
But here's where things get interesting. While hunting for Cleopatra's lost tomb, archaeologists uncovered something they never expected. 2 mysterious mummies buried at Taposiris Magna. These mummies date back to Cleopatra's time. They were wrapped in gold leaf, an honor reserved only for the most powerful and wealthy. Could this mean they were the queen and her lover themselves? The tomb had been sealed for over 2,000 years. When it was finally opened, what researchers discovered was breathtaking. But there was one problem. The bodies were so badly damaged by centuries of water and decay, their true identities were impossible to see with the naked eye. So, scientists turned to advanced technology. X-rays were taken, scanning deep into the remains, hoping to unlock secrets that had been buried for millennia. And what they found might finally bring us closer to Cleopatra than we've ever been before. The geometric miracle that defied explanation. The X-ray results showed that the mummies belonged to a man and a woman, which immediately sparked intense speculation. Some people theorized that they were priests who played important roles in keeping the pharaohs in power, while others wondered if they could be the royal couple themselves. One of the mummies even had a gold leaf painting of a scarab, which was a powerful symbol of rebirth in ancient Egyptian culture.
In one shaft, Kathleen found the remains of clutching a bust of Alexander the Great. In another shaft, 80 feet below the ground, she found two people buried in the fetal position and adorned with jewelry.
For so many years of research, no one had ever been able to find the tomb of any Ptolemaic pharaoh, including Cleopatra. But as these two mummies were discovered, researchers saw it as an incredibly significant breakthrough. Many archaeologists believe that Cleopatra's tomb is hidden somewhere in Taposiris Magna. But Dr. Kathleen Martinez holds that belief more strongly than anyone else. She has been leading excavations at Taposiris Magna for over 14 years, and she has never stopped because she strongly believes she will one day find what she has been searching for her entire career.
This is rescue archaeology. We are trying to rescue the human remains that has been flooded, and we need to do something.
The search for Cleopatra's tomb began about 20 years ago, and it's been a grueling journey since then. But now it seems all that dedication has finally paid off. They discovered a tunnel stretching 1,305 meters, located 13 meters below ground level. This tunnel was named a geometric miracle by scientists because of its absolutely amazing architecture and perfect construction. After the site was excavated, it revealed something that no one expected to find: the sacred complex and divine connection. The excavation revealed the location of a huge religious center that consists of 3 sanctuaries and a sacred lake. Inside the tunnel, over 1,500 objects were discovered, including busts, golden pieces, statues, and a massive collection of coins depicting Alexander the Great, Queen Cleopatra, and the Ptolemies. But of all these incredible discoveries, the most important finding was the intricate network of tunnels that led directly to the Mediterranean Sea and underwater structures. Since 2005, researchers have dedicated their lives to locating this tomb. And the reason is simple, yet profound. Cleopatra was not just a regular queen. She was an icon who was both admired and feared, and she became a victim of Roman propaganda that was believed to be aimed at destroying her beautiful image and legacy. She was possibly one of the first women to study formally at the Alexandria Museum, which was extremely uncommon at the time. But she made sure she was present at the cultural center of her era, breaking barriers that had never been broken before.
It's impossible now.
I could not stand up even in the tunnel. The rats that live there died, and they are decomposing. Smell horrible.
The most important hint came from the name itself. Cleopatra was considered to be the human incarnation of the goddess Isis, while Mark Antony was considered to be the embodiment of the god Osiris. Osiris was married to Isis in Egyptian mythology, while Antony was also married to Cleopatra in real life. Could it be possible that Cleopatra was buried with her husband in the temple of Taposiris Magna? The evidence that researchers found next would suggest something even more extraordinary: the temple that held all the answers. Out of all the temples in Alexandria, only one truly fits the profile of where Cleopatra's lost tomb could be hidden: the Temple of Taposiris Magna. This wasn't just any temple. It was dedicated to Isis and Osiris, the gods of death, rebirth, and eternal love. Could there be a more fitting place for Cleopatra, a queen who lived and died for love? The location itself is perfect, close enough to Alexandria to honor her royal legacy, but far enough outside the Roman-controlled zone to keep her safe. And that matters, because Cleopatra feared one thing above all else: that the Romans would desecrate her body, erasing her memory forever. So if the stories are true, she may have entrusted her body to the temple priests, who would have hidden her away in this sacred place, protecting her for eternity. And here's where the mystery deepens. Taposiris Magna wasn't just a religious site. It was a political stronghold, closely tied to the Egyptian mysteries. Even Alexander the Great himself is said to have stopped here on his journey to the Siwa Oasis. But here's the shocking part. Only a fraction of this temple has ever been explored. And what archaeologists did uncover is astonishing. They broke open a sealed burial chamber. Inside, 2 mummies, covered in gold leaf, were lying in the dark, untouched for over 2,000 years. A limestone slab was carefully lifted away, and for the first time in millennia, human eyes peered into the chamber. But that wasn't all. The discoveries at this sacred site became even more incredible when researchers found something that directly tied Cleopatra to this very temple. The royal artifacts and divine evidence. The excavation team discovered a headless statue that belonged to King Ptolemy IV, one of Cleopatra's direct ancestors.
We found a beautiful statue. Maybe it's one of the most beautiful statues that found dated to the Greek period. The statue is headless. It lost the head because in the Byzantine period, most of the statues was completely destructed. Then all the royal statues that we found in our excavation are without a head.
A foundation plate was also retrieved at the site, which clearly shows that the temple was once dedicated to the goddess Isis. During the time Cleopatra reigned as Queen of Egypt, she proclaimed herself as the human incarnation of Isis, and was also considered to be exactly that by her devoted people. The next discovery proves the direct relationship between Cleopatra and this sacred place. Researchers discovered over 200 coins bearing Cleopatra's name and face at the temple altar, where priests made offerings to the gods. These coins are direct links between Cleopatra and Isis, creating an undeniable connection. But that's not all. The coins also depict the image of Cleopatra, which is not exactly what we have imagined and seen in Hollywood movies. Though we can't say for sure if that was what Cleopatra actually looked like, researchers believe that the coins show how she would have wanted to be seen by her people and by history. The coins were made under her direct instructions, making them authentic representations of her desired image. These coins have tremendous usefulness because they are also helpful for dating archaeological sites, and they show that these might be the actual currency that were spent during the reign of Cleopatra. The finds clearly show that there was a powerful relationship between the temple and Cleopatra, but the most disturbing discoveries were still hidden in the depths below. The architectural marvel and hidden chambers. A team of researchers started their comprehensive search for Cleopatra's tomb within the Taposiris Magna temple complex. They began by excavating both inside and outside the temple, and came upon various architectural components distributed across different levels, each revealing secrets about the temple's ancient purpose. The teams were able to see the limestone room's foundations, which were built parallel to the north wall. Each room has flooring made with limestone, and also contains pottery vessels that were used to hold sacred oils for religious blessing. Below one of the walls, researchers found a statue of royalty without a head, adding to the mystery of who was buried in this sacred place. At the second level, the team found architectural elements that dated back to the late Roman era. This level was built right on a staircase and featured a rectangular building with 3 differently sized rooms at the end of the building's eastern wall. A new entrance was also discovered, leading to a hall with 2 small rooms on either side. No one knows what these rooms were used for, but they were separated by a tunnel that ended in a door opening to another large room. This large room may have been a residence for the commander of the Roman camp when it was initially built. At the third level, researchers made discoveries that would lead them deeper into the temple's darkest secrets. The descending levels of mystery. At the third level, there was limestone flooring where the team found 5 steps made of the same rock, which led to what appeared to be a courthouse or judgment hall. The fourth level contained the foundations of residences that were most likely used by the Ptolemaic temple priests who served the pharaohs. At some point, this area also contained a group of ovens, And in front of one of them, researchers discovered a stela containing 10 lines of Greek inscription that have yet to be fully deciphered. The temple has a foundation similar to that of a rectangular building that could have served as a chapel for the temple gods. An altar located on the western end of the building led directly to the sanctuary, where they discovered the Chapel of Isis, which also revealed the arm of a statue representing Apis, the sacred bull. This discovery further pointed to the fact that the temple was dedicated to the divine triad of Osiris, Isis, and Horus, the exact gods that Cleopatra revered so deeply. This temple was absolutely steeped in details that proved it was wholly dedicated to the gods that Cleopatra considered to be her divine family. But the most chilling discoveries were waiting in the deepest shafts, where ancient secrets had been buried for millennia. The skeletons that revealed ancient secrets. One of the shafts in the temple had niches that were cut directly into the rock, which were used as stairs leading down into the earth. As the excavation team dug deeper and deeper, they reached a depth of 25 meters below the temple floor. At this incredible depth, a complete skeleton was found alongside a collar made of pure gold. It is believed that this skeleton belonged to a man who was left inside the shaft and was never found or retrieved by ancient peoples. The researchers continued to dig even deeper, reaching 28 meters below ground level, where another skeleton was discovered in similar circumstances. If you think that's all they found, you're completely wrong. Further excavation, reaching 35 meters below the temple, revealed a third skeleton that belonged to a woman who died while giving birth to a child. This skeleton was found in a heartbreaking position, holding on to a statue of Alexander the Great with one hand and wearing a ring on the other hand. She also had a leg chain with an amulet shaped like a snake, suggesting she may have been a priestess or someone of significant importance. The final shaft revealed something that could be the possible entrance to the tomb that archaeologists have been searching for: the flooded entrance and ancient vessels. The researchers discovered what appeared to be the entrance to a tomb in the deepest shaft, but they encountered a major obstacle that has frustrated archaeologists for years. The researchers tried to enter this potential tomb entrance, but they could not proceed because of the extremely high water table that had flooded the area over the centuries. However, within the debris of the shaft, they found a great number of rhodium amphorae with seals that contained the name of the factory, as well as the names of the priests who had once served in the temple. These vessels were specifically used to transport the famous rhodium wine that was considered sacred in ancient Egyptian religious ceremonies. The presence of these vessels suggests that this area was used for important religious rituals and ceremonies that may have been connected to royal burials. Near this final shaft, several rooms were discovered that would reveal the most incredible artifact yet found: the alabaster queen that confirmed everything. Near the last shaft, several additional rooms were discovered by the excavation team. These rooms appeared to have been sealed for centuries, protecting their contents from the outside world. In one of those rooms, approximately 1 meter below the Byzantine floor level, scientists discovered an alabaster head of a queen that would change everything. After the head was carefully examined by experts, the researchers discovered that the artistic style of the head strongly indicated that the bust belonged to Cleopatra herself. This determination was made because of the images of Cleopatra that were found on the coins discovered throughout the temple complex. When the coin images were compared directly to the alabaster bust, there were striking similarities that could not be ignored. The facial features, the way the hair was styled, and the overall royal bearing of the sculpture matched the representations found on the coins that were minted during Cleopatra's reign. Although researchers are still far from discovering the actual tomb, these excavations have revealed many other significant findings that are revealing the truth about the temple's history and the lives and deaths of those who were buried within its sacred walls. The underwater theory. As much as archaeologists want to believe that Cleopatra's tomb is hidden within Taposiris Magna, a growing group of experts has reached a completely different conclusion that challenges everything we've discussed. Many scholars now believe that Cleopatra was actually buried somewhere in ancient Alexandria. And as we know, that entire area has been buried deep underwater for centuries. The ancient city of Alexandria, including its royal quarter where Cleopatra's palace once stood, now lies beneath the Mediterranean Sea. While we might choose to believe in the temple theory, there's actually no concrete evidence to definitively prove that the tomb is located in either one of these two locations. What about all the busts and other evidence found at the temple? Critics argue that we can't really use them as definitive proof because they are relatively common artifacts, and simple objects have been found in other archaeological sites throughout Egypt. If the tomb is indeed in Alexandria and underwater, it faces numerous threats. If the water never completely destroyed it, then it might have been burned during one of the many fires that ravaged ancient Alexandria. And if it wasn't burned, it was probably robbed long ago during a time when tomb theft was absolutely rampant throughout Egypt. Even if the tomb somehow survived all of these disasters, what about the effects of cultural change and natural deterioration over 2 millennia? It would be almost supernatural to find Cleopatra's tomb completely intact after all these centuries. Currently, archaeologists are focusing their search on the temple rather than looking underwater, but this may be a mistake that costs them the discovery of the century. Some legends were never meant to be found. Some queens were destined to reign forever in mystery. Do you believe Cleopatra's tomb is hidden beneath the sands of Taposiris Magna, or lost forever beneath the sea? And if her tomb is finally found, what do you think it might reveal? Not just about Cleopatra, but about Egypt itself.